Hey guys, we're back with Beefy Blasters episode 2, and we're going to be going over my the first blaster I bought, which was the AUG Steyr. The reason I bought it originally is because I was going with the Australian camo look, and the Australian Army uses the AUG Steyr, so this would be the closest that I could get to that. I also just really like the look of them. I think they're just something different. I like having something a bit different to everyone else, so I thought it could be something that I could really make my own, and so I've upgraded it a fair bit. But we'll start off at the back like we did with the last video, and you can see this is all part of the original body, so I haven't changed anything here. The gearbox is actually really easy to come out in these. Just take off that back plate. There you can see the cable for the battery, because the battery sits in there. This plate comes off the back. Sometimes it's easier just to open up one of these ports and you can push the gearbox out. You just unplug all the bits and pieces. And it's as easy as that to pull the gearbox out. So here's my gearbox for my AUG. So I've got a 1.28 mil spring in there, the same as in my M4, which I showed in the last video. Changed the cylinder here to a 100% cylinder. For some reason it comes with a, I think it's an 80%, as the same cylinder that's in the Vector, which is a really short barrel. So I don't know why they've used that. Like, it should come with a 100% cylinder stock, as it's got a much longer barrel. And at the front here, I've got a metal head there. I still have the original nylon piece there, as it's actually, I didn't realize, but it's actually a bit different to the Gen 8 gearbox. This is sort of a Gen 8.5, and I had to keep the original one of that, but I fitted the metal bit here. It's still working fine, so I reckon I'll just leave it. But I've got the nylon piston rack with the metal gears on the bottom, as I've got metal gears here. These are actually cast gears, as I just wanted to try them out. I've heard that they're not as strong. You definitely want to go the SHS gears, but I got these as they were pretty cheap, and I just wanted, this is sort of a test to see how long they'll last. But so far so good. And then down the bottom, I sort of made a mistake, and I bought because I thought it was for a Gen 8, a 460 motor, when this AUG actually takes a 480 motor, so had to make up some brackets at the bottom there just to stop it from turning, and yeah, that works fine now. Now going back to the blaster on the back here, I've got my sling mount there, which I attached to my sling just by this buckle. As we move further along, this is all stock, but then as we get up to here, I've got a red dot sight. I got that a very long time ago, but I was pretty sure I got it from AliExpress. And then I've got this part here, which I've changed to a metal. I mainly did that just for the weight aspect, as it just makes it a bit more solid having metal parts on there. So I think that's actually worked quite well. Moving further forward, this is all stock, part of it. Got the charging handle there, which is actually used to load the gels into the mag, which is pretty cool. Comes like that stock, as it's using a MOSFET. You got the trigger select here, so safety on. As you move it along, there'll be single fire, then you've got a 3-round burst, and then full auto all the way through. Moving further forward, I've changed this bit as well to a metal outer barrel. This is originally nylon. As you can see there, it's still got a bit of the thread there. I still need to find something to put on the end here. I haven't sorted that out quite yet, but it's been working really well anyway. But again, I mainly did that for the weight and the look aspect, as it looks pretty cool, and protection, as if I did smack that against something, it's much stronger than the nylon. You don't have to do that, but I just decided to do it. And then further forward, you've got my hop up here, which is again is the Riser R1 V2, which is a metal hop up with a nylon bit that you move, but it's very good quality. And then this is actually a 55 centimeter tight bore barrel, so it's very long. As it's a bullpup system where the gearbox is right at the back, the barrel starts here, and that whole way through there is barrel. So I was able to fit a 55 centimeter barrel in there. The reason I got a really long barrel is I like the look of the long barrel. I don't know if it actually makes too much difference with accuracy. I do need to do a test on that, whether having this longer barrel over a 45 centimeter or something like that will make a difference. I do know it's very important to match the barrel to your cylinder, which is there. So a longer barrel definitely needs a full cylinder without any ports. Well, if you are going to have a shorter barrel, depending how long you do want the ported cylinder, there's heaps of information on that on Google. I'll put a picture up here just to show you so that you can use that for reference. So yeah, that's a quick overview of my AUG. I'm really enjoying this blaster. Again, easily upgradable. Having the MOSFET's interesting, so you get the 3 different fire modes. I did upgrade the wiring as well, so it is thicker wiring than the standard. I did that because I'm using a 7.4 volt battery rather than 11 volt, which I prefer to use the lower voltage battery, so it's, you don't have some crazy fire rate and you can control how many gels you're shooting because you go through the mag very quickly. Some people prefer faster fire rates, but I'm liking the 7.4 volt. But because I do have the 1.3 mil spring in there, I just upgraded the wiring as I noticed they were getting warm because it was obviously drawing a lot of current to be able to pull that string back. Well, since I've upgraded the wiring, they're not getting warm anymore. Also, it's not a good idea using an 11.1 volt battery in these because the MOSFET will actually fail. I've had that happen on this one, and so what happened was during the day it was shooting fine, then all of a sudden the fire modes weren't working, and I'd pull the trigger on any fire mode and it would just keep firing for like 5 seconds. And so I just kept playing like that, but eventually it just started shooting on its own without me even pressing the trigger, so it just completely failed. And that was using an 11.1 volt battery, but since I replaced that and used a 7.4 volt battery, I haven't had any issues with it. It's been going fine. So if you have one of these with a MOSFET, unless you upgrade the MOSFET, definitely just use the 7.4 volt. And again, I think the fire rate's fine anyway. Using the 11.1 volt, you're just going to go through heaps of gels. So especially for these sort of mags, you'll go through them pretty quickly. And so you have to carry more mags, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's up to you if you're happy to do that, sure. The other thing to keep really mindful of with these AUGs is the inner barrel actually sits too far forward from stock. So as I just take apart the top receiver there, this part actually sits too far forward and you don't get the best air seal, and that quite significantly restricts your FPS just for nothing really. So to counter this, if you can see this bit here, there's a bit of a gap there. So I've actually moved this assembly back a little bit, and I just put tape in there as I was putting it together, which does a really good job at just spacing that out. So now, as I put it back together and put the gearbox back in, and when the gearbox is back in, that front part is now sitting well into the gearbox, so there's no air leak. And as soon as I did that, I gained a fair amount of FPS. I think it went from like 140 to 200 plus, so that was a huge air leak just for doing something for free, really, just putting a bit of tape in there. So just be aware of that if you are going to get one of these. So yeah, that's an overview of my AUG. I think they're really good blasters. You do have to do a bit of work to get them up to scratch, but once you do, they're really good. Some of my mates really like using this one actually. It's pretty accurate. I'm really happy with the way it shoots. Let me know if you like these less scripted videos where I'm just going over certain blasters. I'm gonna try and get a few mates on here that have blasters that have done different things, so hopefully give you some ideas of what you might want to do to yours or what you might want to buy. Any questions, ask down below and I'll get around to answering them. Thanks for watching. See you next time.